The Lost Colony, America's oldest unsolved mystery. In 1590, a ship captain returned to a small English settlement on the coast of what is now North Carolina. He expected to find his family, his daughter, and his infant granddaughter waiting for him. Instead, he found something that would haunt historians for over 400 years. The entire colony had vanished. 115 men, women, and children gone without a trace. No bodies, no signs of struggle. Just empty houses and a single word carved into a wooden post: CROATOAN. This is the story of the Lost Colony of Roanoke, and the mystery that has never been solved. The year was 1587. Queen Elizabeth I of England had authorized a bold mission: established the first permanent English colony in the New World. The location chosen was Roanoke Island, a small piece of land off the coast of present-day North Carolina. Leading this expedition was John White, an artist and cartographer. But this wasn't just a military mission. White brought his pregnant daughter Eleanor and her husband, Ananias Dare. They were among the 115 colonists who would attempt to build a new life in an unknown land. On August 18, 1587, Eleanor gave birth to a baby girl named Virginia Dare. She was the first English child born in the Americas. It should have been a moment of celebration, a symbol of hope for this new colony. But the timing couldn't have been worse. Within weeks, it became clear the colony was in trouble. Supplies were running low. Relations with the local Native American tribes were tense, sometimes hostile. The colonists were unprepared for the harsh realities of survival in this new world. The colony needed help, and they needed it fast. John White made a terrible decision. He would sail back to England to get supplies and reinforcements. He promised to return as quickly as possible. Before he left, he made arrangements with the colonists. If they had to leave Roanoke Island for any reason, they would carve the name of their destination into a tree or post. If they were in danger, they would carve a Maltese cross above the name. As White's ship sailed away, he looked back at the settlement. His daughter Eleanor stood on the shore, holding baby Virginia in her arms. He had no way of knowing he would never see them again. What John White thought would be a quick trip turned into a nightmare. When White reached England, he walked into chaos. The country was preparing for war with Spain. The Spanish Armada was assembling, threatening to invade England itself. Queen Elizabeth ordered that every available ship be kept for defense. No ships could be spared for a rescue mission to a distant colony. White was desperate. He tried to organize smaller vessels to return to Roanoke, but storms and attacks by Spanish ships drove them back. 1 year passed, then 2, then 3. For 3 agonizing years, John White was trapped in England while his family remained stranded on that distant island. Every day he must have wondered, were they alive? Were they suffering? Were they waiting for him? Finally, in August of 1590, White secured passage on a privateering ship. It had been exactly 3 years since he'd last seen his family. As the coast of North America came into view, White must have felt a mixture of hope and dread. What would he find? On August 18, 1590, 3 years to the day after Virginia Dare's birth, White and his crew landed on Roanoke Island. The settlement was silent. They walked through the abandoned village. The houses were still standing, but they were empty. The protective palisade fence the colonists had built was still intact. There were no signs of a battle, no bodies, no graves, no skeletons. It was as if the colonists had simply left. Then White saw it. Carved into a post of the fence, CROATOAN, and on a nearby tree, carved in capital letters, CRO. White examined the carvings carefully. There was no Maltese cross. According to the agreement he'd made with the colonists, this meant they hadn't left under duress. They had moved voluntarily, but moved where, and what had happened to them? CROATOAN was the name of a nearby island, about 50 miles south. It was also the name of a Native American tribe that had been friendly with the English colonists. Their chief Manteo had even traveled to England with earlier expeditions, and had been baptized as a Christian. White was hopeful. Perhaps the colonists had simply relocated to CROATOAN Island for better resources or protection. Perhaps his family was safe waiting for him there. He pleaded with the ship's captain to sail to CROATOAN Island immediately. They would find the colonists there. He was sure of it, but fate had other plans. A massive storm rolled in. The ship's anchor cables broke. The crew, already eager to leave and continue their privateering mission, refused to make the journey. Despite White's desperate protests, the captain ordered the ship to sail for the Caribbean, then back to England. John White never returned to the New World. He never saw his daughter or granddaughter again. He died in 1593, likely never knowing what happened to them. For over 400 years, historians, archaeologists, and investigators have tried to solve the mystery of Roanoke. What really happened to the lost colony? Several theories have emerged. Theory 1. Assimilation. The colonists integrated with the CROATOAN tribe or other local Native American communities. Some evidence supports this. CROATOAN descendants later reported having ancestors with gray eyes and English features. In the 18th century, explorers encountered Native Americans in the area who spoke English words and claimed to have white ancestors. Theory 2. Massacre. The colonists were killed by hostile Native American tribes, possibly the Powhatan or others who resented English presence. Their bodies were disposed of, leaving no trace. However, there's no archaeological evidence of mass death. Theory 3. dispersal. Facing starvation and danger, the colony split into smaller groups and attempted to reach other English settlements or integrate with different tribes. They scattered, and their individual fates varied. Some died, some survived, none kept together. Theory 4. The Dare Stones. In 1937, stones were discovered with carvings allegedly from Eleanor Dare, describing the colony's fate. Most historians believe these were elaborate hoaxes, but some questions remain. Recent archaeological discoveries have found European artifacts on Hatteras Island, formerly known as CROATOAN Island. Pieces of English pottery, a sword hilt, and other items dated to the late 1500s suggest at least some colonists may have made it there, but we may never know the complete truth. Did Virginia Dare grow up among the CROATOAN people? Did she survive into adulthood? Did any of the colonists live long enough to see other English settlements arrive years later? The Lost Colony of Roanoke remains America's oldest unsolved mystery. 115 people vanished into history, leaving behind only a single word carved into wood: CROATOAN, a word that for over 400 years has meant the same thing: mystery, loss, and questions that may never be answered. What do you think happened to the Lost Colony? Let us know in the comments below.